Welcome back to Black Clover Anime Review, episode number 15. Yep, 15. Yeah, and this one I'm reviewing the 65th episode of the Black Clover anime, I'm Home. Yes, I'm Home. That's the name of the episode. This one is adapted from chapters 101 and 102. With this episode, we're effectively done with the Witch's Forest arc. I kind of predicted about at least 11 episodes back that this would be the episode that this arc actually ends at due to the rate it was going at. And I proved to be correct in that matter. Of course, 102 starts the Hot Springs training arc. Yep. What happens this episode? It's more of like an epilogue slash setup for stuff for later. Yeah, it sets up not for the next arc, mind you. It sets up for the current arc of the manga. For the whole elvish stuff, yes. So, after the queen says she's utterly defeated, they go back to her, let's say, I call this her wooden palace, and she just says, like, why was the item that's on here? Of course, before this, Mars and Letteros decided to go back down and remake it, and Fauna decided to stay with Zell, his wife, and Mandia, I think her name is, the raven hair lady. Yeah, so they go visit the queen. She explains like whether after was this stone that she had on her as an earring the entire time. I'm sure people who never read the manga like, really? They're after this thing? Okay. Gives it, and of course she explains the backstory of the stone, like why were they after it? And apparently it has to do with elvish magic. Now, this also was shown in flashbacks. And of course, Noelle points out that apparently the monsters she saw in picture books that was shown to her by her own nanny were frickin' elves. Apparently, some people didn't like elves very much in this world, so they picked them as frickin' monsters. No idea why, just that they did. Probably because some idiot thought that elvish magic was pure evil. Whatever. Explains all that, so that's how they go home. And of course, Zell tells Fauna, well, in the case of Merlina, I think that's her name, tells her that she'll make sure her master doesn't appear to Fauna butt naked all the time. Yep. So they go home, they go back to the Black Bull headquarters, and there's Yumi just sitting in the lounge, just reading a newspaper. Like, oh, you're back. And yeah, he says, yeah, my arm's fixed. Okay, cool. It's like he just doesn't care. But I'm sure he's happy to see the fact that his arms are fixed. And Vanessa says, I'm home. He goes, yo. Of course, he uses his usual self. Yeah, and he tells Ashley, like, tells him, your first mission since your arm's fixed, bring me some beer. So he goes really quickly and brings him a whole case of beer. And of course, everybody else is coming back. First, it's, of all people, it's Mangia, and Luck, who apparently decided to do some training in a dungeon looking for a way to cure Asha of his arm. Says, oh yeah, don't worry about it, my arms are fine now. And they pretty much, now, Magda basically is like this fiery thing, and Luck is basically electricity, like, I really want to fight, and then, like, when she revealed that they're back there, was like, oh, they'll go back, no problem. And then all of a sudden, Gouge and Gordon come in, and they're like nerds. And of course, they explain like the real life. Apparently, also Gorge is apparently carrying up Asha. So apparently, every time he sees Asha now, his nose bleeds. Not just to see his adorable little sister, apparently for Asha as well, for some reason. Yeah, and this is a guy who has about half of those women who have a thing for him. Even a little girl is in love with him. Yes, this is a guy who's got 3 women who are around his age are in love with him, and a little girl. Yeah, I know Vanessa's trying to make moves on him, but even he knows that she can tell that Vanessa is... He probably looks up to Vanessa as sort of like an older sister, and of course, Noelle is probably the closest thing he has to like an actual sibling. You know, he has siblings in a way. Yeah. And then the last 2 people that come back are Gray and Charmy. And apparently they start eating magic parasite mushrooms, where every time they eat one, 3 pop up on top of their head. And of course, and Asha's like, stop eating those. Yes. And Yumi's like, oh, we got food now. We got drink. Let's have a party. Yep. And of course, they also tell him before all this happens, they got me some magic. And like, really? You got magic stone? Cool. And of course, Asha's the one who actually caught it after it was tossed at them. And he's the one just happily standing right in front, and bam, catches it, gives the Yumi, and just wham. There's that. Of course, this does set up the next episode, the whole magic stone thing. It's just pure fun. Of course, the episode ends, of course, Vanessa being free, but being free from, let's just say, an actual obligation, but she's free to come back anytime she wants to because it's her home. It's her birthplace. And of course, like, because they're at a party and she's drunk, so she says just strip down to her underwear for the first time in probably about 15 episodes. Yeah. Actually, it's been like 14 episodes since she's done this. Yeah, she just strips down to her underwear just because she feels like it. Yep. And of course, you had this little pet thing, which was, of course, ties into what was going on with the conversation thing. Apparently, Asha got too much. He couldn't keep up with it, so he passed out. And I think it's Luck, I think his name is. The one who basically makes teleports. Look at the guy's name here. Because I know he's the one with the teleport. I'm trying to figure out this guy's name. I kind of forgot his name. It's Fenrir. Yeah, Fenrir. He writes all this info, probably to pass on to the kingdom, which is good. The fact the queen is passing this information. And yeah, I guess she gets Oscar overwhelmed. He passes out. Of course, then they kind of explore this in this little short petty Clover, where he asks like, why doesn't Fauna's clothes catch on fire? Magic. Why aren't Noelle's clothes wet when she's using the Sea Dragon Roar when she's in the water? Magic. And then they explain the whole thing with the seaweed thing, and because Charming, because she loves food, yeah, she explains it so much, Asha passes out, and of course, then we have the new ending. Now, this episode also had a new opening title. Yes, it had a new opening title, and I gotta say, it's actually really good. And I also gotta praise the fact this particular animation also showed a bit of extension of how the first Wizard King defeated that demon that was mentioned way back in the pilot. Yeah, they sort of expanded that, actually show him actually defeat the demon. Yeah, because it's like brief and so like this one actually sort of expansion on that. I love the opening theme. It's great. It shows like all the characters in the show, which is really good. I still kind of wish they would kind of fix the whole thing with Gordon, where he actually can speak like normally, and because all he does is mumble. Yeah, he just mumbles. No one can understand what the heck this guy says, anyways. Yep. Overall, fantastic episode. Though most people might look at this episode as sort of a party episode slash exposition episode. Yep. Though in the case for Hot Springs, this probably will be explored next episode. Though from the trailer I've seen, it's probably gonna go to some filler stuff. Maybe. Who the heck knows? Okay. But that's it for this particular video. Stay tuned for one more video. I'm hoping to get this video done today. And that's a review of the shorts for Overlord Season 2 and 2 more OVAs. Okay? We'll do the next review. Bye.